the much-anticipated final chapter in Sony's Venom trilogy. Venom: The Last Dance, directed by Kelly Marcel, has left many fans and critics questioning its place in Marvel's broader cinematic landscape. While previous installments featured Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and his symbiote Venom in a quirky anti-hero dynamic, the latest film struggles to deliver a satisfying close to the series. Many viewers hoped for an epic grand finale, but instead received what RNZ Samuel Rillstone calls a nothing movie, marked by lackluster storytelling and character development. Sony Pictures attempted to wrap up Venom's story with a large-scale send-off, including high-stakes scenarios where Eddie and Venom are pursued by the U.S. military and alien assassins sent by the symbiote god Knull. But even with this plot-driven push, the film fails to engage or thrill consistently. It relies heavily on typical action sequences and a few symbolic montages, which don't provide the emotional depth needed to tie the trilogy together. For those still considering whether to see Venom: The Last Dance, here's a breakdown of the highs and lows, and why this film may leave both longtime fans and casual viewers unsatisfied. Right from the beginning, Venom: The Last Dance introduces Knull, a powerful symbiote god with a dark, expansive backstory. Knull, created by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, first appeared in Marvel's Thor comic series in 2013. He's depicted as a universe-level threat who beheaded a Celestial and used the head to forge the symbiote race. The film attempts to establish him as a future antagonist in Sony's Marvel universe, but in this installment, his presence feels unearned. Director Marcel's inclusion of Knull is, according to her, just a taster of where he might potentially be able to go with his own movies. However, it's evident that without a longer build-up or more thoughtful introduction, the character's entry feels more like a gimmick than a satisfying story arc. Despite the setup, Venom: The Last Dance focuses on Eddie and Venom's relationship, which remains the trilogy's strongest element. Tom Hardy's performance retains the character's charm and humor, and there are moments of levity and quirky interactions that remind fans why they initially enjoyed this oddball duo. However, the scenes where Venom's goofy humor shines through are too few, and they're often overshadowed by the film's inconsistent pacing and an abundance of exposition that doesn't serve the story. Why the film feels like a letdown for fans? One of the primary issues with Venom: The Last Dance is the pacing. Samuel Rillstone from RNZ aptly noted that it's a nothing movie with almost constant meandering exposition that detracts from any potential for character-driven storytelling. A heartfelt montage tries to evoke a sense of nostalgia, celebrating the trilogy's journey, yet, for many, this emotional appeal doesn't land. The finale feels more like a loosely connected series of action scenes with minimal stakes rather than a meaningful conclusion. Even for those who have followed Eddie and Venom's story from the beginning, this final installment lacks any substantial payoff. Tom Hardy's consistent performance isn't enough to save the film. Hardy's portrayal of Eddie Brock remains energetic and entertaining, providing a few highlights amidst the lackluster narrative. He manages to keep Eddie's unique relationship with Venom interesting, and his dedication to the character is apparent. His humor and willingness to embrace the eccentricities of the role have been the most enjoyable aspects across the trilogy. However, this alone isn't enough to make the movie engaging, especially when audiences were hoping for a grander and more impactful ending. As the Los Angeles Times notes, Hardy has been the one to carry these films on his shoulders, but in this case, even his energy can't salvage the series. Could Knull's introduction lead to bigger things? The introduction of Knull feels rushed and serves as a stark reminder of Sony's attempts to connect various Marvel properties. Kelly Marcel has noted that Knull could be Sony's equivalent of Thanos, but unlike Marvel's careful build-up to the Mad Titan, Knull's presence feels forced and barely explored. Knull's lore is immense and complex, and in the film, this scope is barely hinted at. Given that he forged the all-black Necrosword, used by Gore in Thor: Love and Thunder, Knull's potential as a villain could be significant, but Venom: The Last Dance simply doesn't offer the depth required for audiences to become invested in his character. Many fans might feel that Sony's attempt to broaden the Venom universe is both too little and too late. It's hard to recommend Venom: The Last Dance, even as a casual viewing on a rainy afternoon. While it concludes Eddie and Venom's arc, the journey feels superficial and rushed. The appeal of Knull, while promising, doesn't compensate for the film's other shortcomings. Venom, The Last Dance may hold some nostalgia for longtime fans, but it lacks the compelling elements necessary for a memorable finale.